In 2018, a new type of sequel would take the world by storm, a requel, which is a sequel that ignores multiple other sequels in a timeline. That would be Halloween 2018. But little did people even realize at the time, it's not the first of its kind. It's not even the first of its kind in this series. What's up, everyone? Nick here at the Lost River Drive-In, and tonight I wanted to pit two more Halloween movies against each other. I've been really enjoying doing this kind of video for you guys where I've pitted multiple different Halloween movies against each other, given pros and cons, and said at the end of the day which one I preferred and why. You guys seem to really be resonating with it. It definitely gets the viewership and it gets you guys talking in the comments, so I want to continue it. And I thought the juiciest one for me to do, because, you could do Halloween H20 versus Halloween Resurrection, but I mean, come on. I thought the juiciest one for me to do would be Halloween H20 versus Halloween 2018. Two very similar movies that came out 20 years apart. Now, everybody always flocks to Halloween 2018 as the gold standard for requels. But Halloween H20 was a requel in 1998. It was a sequel to the first two movies that ignored 3 through 6. Nothing from those movies were referenced pretty much in any way at all. You could say, oh, well, the scissors in the opening sequence or whatever. Yeah, but you know what I mean. Those were no longer canon. This was Jamie Lee 20 years after the events of Halloween and Halloween 2. And they ran with that. And then Halloween 2018 was like, okay, this is Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee, after the events of just the original Halloween. So now Halloween 2 and H20 and Resurrection don't exist. So it was a requel before the requel craze was really a thing. Now you see it all over the place. We're getting another one later this year with The Exorcist Believer. We've seen it with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's all over the place. So which movie did it better and why? Now, if you had asked me that months ago, I would have probably had a pretty sure answer, in my opinion. But now that I'm thinking about it, and I've thought about it a lot, it's hard. So I want to give the pros and cons of each movie, what they do well, what they don't do well, and then at the end of the day, tell you which one I think I would prefer. This might be harder than I think, but let's do this together. This is a therapy session. So it should be no surprise to you guys if you aren't new to my channel. You guys have heard me talk about Halloween 2018 and H20 in not the greatest of lights. H20 was one I loved growing up, and as years went on, I really started to fall out of love with it. And 2018 was a movie that the first time I saw it in theaters, I was underwhelmed. I was disappointed. And then I started to like it a little bit more on repeat viewings, and then it kind of went back to that disappointment from the first time seeing it. I feel like both of these movies have kind of settled where they're at in my ranking now. So I feel like I can talk about this and just be pretty concise with what I have to say and have a pretty good idea of which one I'm going with. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm still like, this is difficult. So why is it difficult? First of all, Halloween H20, what does it do right? I have maintained that I think this is the best Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Halloween Ends for me does rival that. I love Laurie in that movie, but I still think this is the best Laurie Strode, as far as Jamie Lee Curtis goes, is Halloween H20. I think what she has become, hiding from her past and really just become this kind of spiraling alcoholic that is a shut-in and is trying to force her son to be a shut-in and really just lying to herself and the world and struggling with what she's dealt with for 20 years. I just really love that. And then towards the end of the movie where she really becomes this badass and she does not back down. I absolutely love that. Now, Halloween 2018, I think it is a good Laurie. But I think it is over-exaggerated to a point where when I watch this movie, I'm like, yeah, I don't know, dog. There's just some of it that I'm like, I don't know. See, with H20, I feel like it's a little bit more believable because you have the events of 1 and 2. A lot more, a bigger body count, only 20 years apart. She moved away. She changed her name. Whereas in Halloween 2018, it was just a few people that died. It was 40 years ago, and she has become Sarah Connor, even though he's been incarcerated for 40 years. For me, it's just I hear people complain sometimes about Halloween Ends and how she was trying to move on from that in Halloween Ends. But I didn't really hear that much about 2018 with the direction they took her. Because I was like, I mean, what? 3 of your friends died? 40 years ago? Dude's been locked up? I don't know. It's a little bit much for me. So For me, the portrayal of Laurie Strode has got to go to Halloween H2O, without a doubt, hands down. Even if just for that awful wig in Halloween 2018, like, dear God, what was that? It's a rat's nest. Now, Halloween 2018 scores some points, though, because Halloween 2018 unequivocally has the better score and the better Michael Myers. Let's just call a spade a spade. Look, Halloween H2O had a very troubled production, as all of us know by now, and one of the most troubling parts of that production were the switching of the masks all the time and reshooting because of the masks. There's so many masks in this movie. It's not a good look. I don't think Chris Durand is a very good Michael Myers at all. I do like that him and Jamie Lee are kind of similar in stature. There's a nice aesthetic look when they're side by side or when they're fighting, but it's just not Michael Myers. Now juxtaposed with Halloween 2018, whereas like that feels like Nick Castle 40 years later and James Jude Courtney is a tank. And the look is just way better. They have one mask and they stick with it, and it's awesome. So you got to give the mask and Myers hands down to 2018 and the music, because H2O literally samples Scream's score multiple times throughout this movie. So it's just like, now, no, that's no knock on John Ottman. He really wanted to do this kind of orchestral, anthemic kind of score. And of course, the studio injected Scream in there because Scream was what was hot at the time. But that's where Halloween 2018 is going to score some points for me. Now, when it comes to the periphery in these two movies, the supporting characters and, their likability, the actors and whatnot, I think it's hands down H2O. Hands down H2O. Now, I have said from the very first time I saw Halloween 2018, I really like Jamie Lee in the movie. I really like Will Patton in the movie. And I think that Judy Greer is pretty good. And I think that Toby Huss is pretty good, even though some of his dialogue is terrible. And Annie Matichik in this movie really was not given much to do. She doesn't really grow into her own, so she's just kind of there. She's neither good nor bad. But in Halloween H2O, I think everybody that really gets some screen time is really, really good. I mean, you have Jamie Lee, of course. You have Josh Hartnett, Michelle Williams. LL Cool J is great in this movie. And even the other teenagers in their friend group, I like them for what they are. And I think Alan Arkin is really good as like the guidance counselor. So I think the supporting cast absolutely goes to Halloween H2O. I don't even think that's a question. Also, you open the movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it's just, he's great. And it's also great to see Nancy Stevens, and she does a really good job in the short part that she has. So periphery, as far as actors and characters go, it's Halloween H2O. Now, same thing with the mask and Myers. Obviously, I think the kills are superior in Halloween 2018. But I do think that there are some cool kills in Halloween H2O, specifically the dumbwaiter sequence. I absolutely love that sequence. I've loved that sequence forever. And I wish we could have seen the ice skate through the face rather than just the aftermath. But it's still a cool visual nonetheless, so I'll take what I can get. But 2018 with the kills. The dialogue, I think, is unequivocally H2O. I think that there's a lot in 2018 that's good, but I think so much of it is surface level, and so much of it you can really tell is Danny McBride kind of trying to cut his teeth in horror. And it's just like, you got some things right, you got a lot of kind of out of left field things in this movie, so it's just very unbalanced. Whereas I think H2O, for all of its flaws, it did know that this is an anniversary movie. We need this movie to be an event. We need this to have deeper meaning. There needs to be more here. I think there's more substance in the script here. And I think a lot of that goes to the scenes with Josh Hartnett and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think they have some great moments together. The breakfast scene moment, the scene when she catches him outside of school, getting a little lunch. There's just some really, really good stuff there. And I just, absolutely fantastic. Now, the finale of the movies. Look, I love the moment in 2018 where Karen says gotcha and shoots him and they kind of catch him off guard. That stuff was awesome. Awesome. And Jamie Lee's a badass in that. But give me Halloween H2O all day, hands down, like bar none. I think Halloween H2O's climax is one of the best in the franchise. Simply just because at that moment in 1998, the people seeing that movie and me seeing it for the first time when I was a kid, you think that's the end of Michael Myers. Like, you really, really do. You don't know that resurrection's coming. You don't know any of that. And, like, can we forget that it happened? Like, are we allowed to do that? Because, like, that's where I'm at right now. From the moment she grabs the axe and is standing in the street and just is yelling Michael, and the score is just ratcheting up, and then you have this knockdown, drag-out fight between them, and then her saying, that's not far enough. I need to make sure you're dead. I'm going to decapitate you. And then you get the original rendition of the theme playing as Jamie Lee is breathing right before credits come up. Just chef's kiss. I think that the climax of H2O is far superior to 2018. I honestly, It might be like top two, top three or four in the franchise for me. I really have to think about that. That might be a cool video to do someday, ranking the conclusions of the Halloween franchise. But yeah, so both of these movies have a lot of strengths. And so often Halloween 2018 gets the credit for kind of starting this requel craze and being kind of like the cream of the crop when it comes to that. But H2O did it before. And although I think that the movie did not have near as many behind the scenes issues, and you can tell, Halloween 2018 as opposed to Halloween H2O, the mask is better, the music's better, Michael's better. I think everything else is better in H2O. And, forgive me, but I do think one thing that H2O benefits from is that it is very briskly paced. This isn't even a 90-minute movie before credits. It's 80 minutes and some change. I mean, yes, please. I give me more of that. I just sitting here right now, and I don't even think I wouldn't have said this a year ago. But I told you guys that 2018 has really, really, just slid down my list for me over the years. And I think I'm going to take Halloween H2O over Halloween 2018. I think if I were to watch one of them, it'd be H2O first, even for all of its warts. I really do think I would pick H2O. And, maybe that doesn't surprise some of you guys, because if you know me, like, oh, well, you thought the Blumhouse trilogy got better as it went on. Yes, I absolutely did. And I still believe that. So if that were the case, of course, 2018 is going to be pretty low for me. But you also know I'm not the biggest fan of H2O. So this is weird for me because I didn't even expect this from myself. I'll be honest with you. When I hit record, I didn't know where I was going. I wanted to parse this out. I knew it was very close. I knew it was basically a coin flip. But honestly, just for being memorable, for being epic, I'm going Halloween H2O. I really, really am. But I'm going to pass this on to you guys in the comments section. I want to hear which one you choose and why. Whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. I'd love to hear it. Obviously, guys, keep it respectful because it's our opinions, and opinions cannot be proven because they are subjective, not objective. But please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Which movie do you choose and why? And I can't wait to read what you guys have to say. But leave a like on this video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am pulling out.